Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. Co-main event, Gilbert Burns versus Jorge Masvidal. I've got Gilbert Burns winning this fight. I've got him winning by decision, and that's my bet as well. Plus 150 for Burns to win by decision, which I don't love. I think that line is a little off, but proportionate to his money line at minus 500, it's not too bad. That's really what I think is off. I think the odds are just too wide to begin with. Masvidal, speaking of which, there's value on Masvidal at plus 350, and for him to win by decision, especially at plus 700. I think they got those wrong. But still, my only bet is in accordance with my pick. Gilbert Burns by decision. I think Gilbert Burns is the sharper fighter, more versatile guy. I do think the primary strength, the biggest weapon between either guy, is Burns' jiu-jitsu. But despite that, and despite him being the more powerful striker, too, I'd say, he may not be the better striker, but he's the more powerful guy and the overall better athlete, I have a hard time envisioning him putting away Masvidal. Masvidal is just too durable. He's got plenty of losses, 16 losses, but only been finished 4 times. 2 by knockout. One of them is legitimate. That's the Kamaru Usman. The other one, the Rodrigo Dam, back in Sengoku, was just a bullshit stoppage. He was knocked down, but not knocked out. Still, the Usman fight, that was relatively recently. I think when Masvidal was 35, now he's 37. And it was, obviously, when he was in his mid to late 30s. So that doesn't bode well overall. But still, I haven't seen him knocked out any other time. So I can write off his chin. And as far as his jiu-jitsu goes, or his submission defense, he's been submitted twice, but both fights were over 14 years ago. The last one came 14 years ago, reverse triangle choke to Toby Amada in Bellator. It was a viral moment, and I can't call it a fluke because Amada's a scrapper, but the submission itself, I don't envision that happening again. And then the other loss was to a guy, Paul Rodriguez, who actually made it to the UFC for a cup of coffee. Lost to Tony D'Souza, and then retired shortly thereafter, but still, guy was good enough to make it to the UFC. My point is, no scrubs ever beaten Masvidal via finish. And Gilbert Burns, while he's definitely no scrub and he's an elite fighter in his prime, I still trust Masvidal's durability to hold up. But as far as the actual fight, I think Gilbert Burns outpoints him. If Gilbert Burns is able to win the wrestling battle, I think he's going to be working his jiu-jitsu. And Gilbert Burns' jiu-jitsu is it's good enough to submit anybody. I mean, if there's anybody who can submit Masvidal today, it's Gilbert Burns. But I don't think he's going to. I think he's going to be relegated to using his jiu-jitsu more to neutralize Jorge Masvidal. Kind of like Damian Maia did, even though Damian Maia is a much better backpacker, so to speak. But Damian Maia was incredibly dangerous, fighting Masvidal in his prime, in Maia's prime, when he was on his way to fighting Woodley, I think, in the middle of a 6-fight winning streak. And he was just relegated to neutralizing Jorge Masvidal, whereas he submitted everybody else. Neil Magny, Matt Brown, 4 other guys, whatever. But Masvidal, he neutralized him. And I do think Jorge Masvidal's jiu-jitsu is going to be sharp enough to keep him safe here. But I just see Gilbert Burns outpointing Masvidal. Even on the feet, Masvidal is the slicker boxer, and I do think that's his best chance of winning is by keeping this fight standing and out-slicking and outpointing Gilbert Burns, especially down the stretch, taking over. But that's probably not going to happen. Even though Gilbert Burns is an older guy himself, 36 years old, I consider him to be the sharper athlete. I really like his work rate. And even if he wasn't able to get Masvidal down, which eliminates a lot of his options for scoring points and getting a victory, on the feet, Gilbert Burns is the faster guy, certainly when he's operating with full athleticism. And also, he's the more powerful guy. He's the more powerful guy. I think he's got the bigger overhand. And that's for a guy who may be questioning his own chin and whatever else, Masvidal, that could be enough to scare him off and allow Gilbert, give him better chances of winning a pure striking battle. I really like Gilbert Burns' chances of winning this fight. I think he's going to more than likely get the fight to the ground and mix it up altogether. I think he will start to widen the gap a little bit and pull ahead because it'll be a largely dominant fight, but I don't think he's going to get Masvidal out of there. So Gilbert Burns by decision plus 150. That is the prediction. That is the bet. Like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit. Check out my other videos.